Before I start anything, you knew this video was gonna come out. I fucking love math, especially when the information helps others. I know most of these results will be dependable on how much you actually play, but if you spend more than a few hours in each game, you should be totally fine. But for mathematics' sake, I'll be doing 16 hours since some people are awake for 16 hours a day. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, but it'll be helpful. And this video is totally gonna be too late when it comes out, but you can blame Royale High for that one. Let's start with Bloxburg first, since the math is extremely easy. Way better results than Royale High. The best way to farm tickets in Bloxburg is using the neighborhoods and filtering the event. The more people are in a server, the better it is to get tickets. It'll be laggy though, and you will get a headache. I could promise you that. If you play for too long, that is. I recommend playing for 2 hours at a time, if you can. But if you were immune somehow, with only trick-or-treating for 16 hours, you would get 52,800 tickets a day. That is plenty to get many of the items, and to get the cute ghost trophy. But if you play for 2 hours per day, because Royale High has most of your time, you would still get 6,600 tickets a day. To get the trophy, you would need to play for roughly 4 days. I'm not counting the extra tickets you get when your plot gets trick-or-treated from. That's unpredictable. If you wanted to gain tickets from the minigame, that's where things get difficult, mathematically speaking, because there's a lot of random chance. Instead, I did the bare minimum. If you play 20 ghost hunting minigames per hour throughout the whole 16 hours and you were the ghost in every single one somehow, you would get 14,400 tickets. It'll take you 2 days to get the trophy since the trophy requires 25,000 tickets, but you'll get there. But if you were only able to play for 2 hours per day, you would get 1,800 tickets per day. It'll take you roughly 14 days to get the trophy, but it's easier to get tickets in Bloxburg than it is to get Candies in Royale High. If you were the ghost hunter in every 20 games in 16 hours, somehow, at least if you captured one person per game, you would get 16,000 tickets per day. To get the trophy, it'll take you roughly 2 days. If you played 2 hours per day as the ghost hunter, you would get 2,000 tickets. To get the trophy, you would need to play for roughly 13 days. I'm not counting the extra tickets from when it rains down from the sky, but that's bonus tickets. The results from this actually surprised me. I didn't expect trick-or-treating to be so much, but it makes sense since the ghost hunting minigame was added later on. The best way to get as many tickets when you trick or treat is to have a 5-minute timer nearby. I use the timer on my phone. But when you trick or treat from the first plot, start the 5-minute countdown, and then trick or treat all the other plots. When the timer goes off, you can go back to the beginning plot that you started at and play it all again. But if your neighborhood server is full and you don't have a plot, I recommend having extra Bloxburg so you can use it to bring your needs up. However, if you don't have any, it'll take you longer to farm tickets because you'll walk super slow. Now for my thoughts on the event. It's the best event that has happened in a long time. As an update, it'll definitely keep you working for items you want. I'm somewhat upset that it's not super easy to stock up on things because it put items behind a wall where you have to wait for things to become available. I wouldn't say it's good as the OG updates back in the day, but I do play more. I like it. I don't even remember the past Halloween updates, which probably says more about either the lackluster Halloween updates or my memory. 8 out of 10 stars. If I could improve the event, I wouldn't change much else, but I would like to have more titles like Trick or Treater or Ghost Hunting Enthusiast, so more people would know for when the loading gets funky and other people just see you standing there. It gets a little awkward. Now before I dive into the math of Royale High and getting candies, I'll skip to the methods that you could use to farm candies. If you can't get on much, but you get on every single hour for 16 hours to grab the candy from the candy bowls and get your moods up, you would get 6,720 candies per day. But if you can only get on every 3 hours for only a few minutes, you would get 2,100 candies per day. This is unfortunate since the OG players like myself are growing up and doing other things with their life. Now if you love Risk, which I'd never recommend, here's your method for farming the most candies. But you will have to win absolutely everything. In the game, there's a schedule, and here's the ideal schedule for the most candies. 4:30 p.m., apple picking. Between 5 and 7 p.m., you will use all your tickets on the Acorn Fallen game. It'll be easy since it only costs 1 ticket per play. 8 p.m., you're gonna play the costume contest. 9:30 p.m., the corn maze. Now if you have locker candies, go collect the candies from the locker after you're done with the corn maze, obviously. Then leave the server when campfire s'mores arrive to take care of your needs like sleep and hygiene. The moods don't do anything to the candy gathering, but gives you experience points, which could lead to leveling up diamonds. If you wanted to, you could gather the candy bowls however you want to do it. After all that, you go back to the event in Campus 4 and wait to repeat it all again. If you do this for 16 hours, which I don't recommend, you would get 24,486 candies per day. But keep in mind that server hopping doesn't help at all. I've tried. Now if you want to play it safe but get a lot of candies, here is the easiest farming method for you. I like doing this method when I play. Here's the ideal schedule for the safest amount of candy that don't rely on you winning everything. 4:30 p.m., the pumpkin patch harvest. Between 5 and 7 p.m., you'll use all your tickets on the baking game. If you accidentally have extra like 1, play the acorn game. Worst case scenario, you lose that 1 ticket and get nothing in return. And 8 p.m., the costume contest. 9:30 p.m., the witch flight. If you have locker candies, go get them from the locker. Leave the server when campfire talking arrives to take care of your needs. Again, the moods don't do anything, but gives you extra experience points for diamonds. If you want to, you can skip the bowl candy gathering, but it wouldn't be bad to get the candy from the bowls. After all that, you go back to the event in Campus 4 and wait to repeat it all that again. If you did this method for 16 hours but you didn't get the bowl or locker candy, you would get 11,600 candies per day. If you did get the bowls but not the locker candy, you would get 16,940 candies per day. If you didn't get the bowls, but you got the maximum amount of locker candy, you would get 17,160 candies per day. Now for the math, and everybody that has their methods right away, they can leave. But if you want to know the math, here it is. At the end of 18 days, when shop disappears as of recording, using the every hour method, you would have 120,960 candies total. If you use every 3 hour method for 18 days, you would have 37,800 candies total. If you used the method to have the most candies at the end of 18 days, you would have 400,040,748 candies total. If you use the safest and easiest farming method, you would have anywhere between 200,880 candies and 300,880 candies total. The new steampunk items in the set cost 70,000 candies, which every method will easily get to at the end of 18 days, except for if you only play every 3 hours. But the entire steampunk set as a whole costs 100,003 candies. If you're looking to get all the steampunk items, it's best not to only play for a few minutes every 3 hours. And the every hour method is cutting it super close. I still recommend the safest and easiest farming method. As much I would love to recommend the grind for the most candy, I simply don't because it's extremely risky. If you fail at the corn maze and falling acorns, you get nothing. I don't like that, but I understand why it's like that. At least you get candy for the costume party, even if you don't win. This is why I have to recommend the easy way of farming candy, because you are promised candy, no matter the skill. But the most important thing that Royale High is trying to make you forget and trigger your fear of missing out, just enjoy the event. Enjoy it by spending time with others. Or if you're like me, enjoy it by theorizing and doing math. Only players of Royale High care if you don't have all the items or not. Looks aren't everything. If you want to play more of the matching card game and the leaf cleanup minigame, you can do that. I'm not going to stop you. Sure, the leaves only give you, on average, 116 candies per night and 240 candies per night for the matching card game. But if you find it fun, you can do that. Just have fun with the event. Now my thoughts on the event. Personally, the event is good. It's way better than the boring recycled stuff we got for multiple years. I like that the schedule changes because it keeps from being stale and boring. I love the different minigames you can do because it gives you options. The things that I don't like is that there's a lot of waiting. I understand people are supposed to be role-playing and stuff, but how could you do that? There's not much in Campus 4 at all, and there's basically no gameplay outside the event, even with the backpack items. However, I absolutely hate that the NPC doesn't let you transform diamonds into candy, like you used to be able to a lot of years ago. I think that was when the feature first came out. I want that feature back. It used to look something like this. It was a very good feature actually. I really liked it. 7 out of 10 stars. Personally, I would improve this event by lowering the candy cost for items. But I would add what Bloxburg did because it's a very good idea. It would help a lot too. For every time a person gets candy from your candy bowl, you would get a certain amount of candy in return. Maybe like 40 or something. Since the average for the candy per bowl is 84 candies. But believe me or not, Royale High used to be my childhood. I'll talk about it more later in a separate video. Happy Halloween!